Shalom.
Hi, shalom.
Welcome back. It's been a long hiatus, I feel like, right?
It
We've been
has.
gone for a couple of months. We haven't been gone. I mean, we've been continuing our life. But this YouTube life, that people see us on, we haven't been on it. And we've talked about this before. We're not going to throw out a video every week. I wish we could. It'd be fun to, but um, you know, I've said this before. Like, I feel like the Spirit it's just not always upon us every single week. And I say that in trying to be humble when I say that, because I wouldn't want to come out here and say, well, I'm filled with the Spirit always,
Yeah.
because I know myself.
Flesh.
I know the flesh. Unfortunately, I feed the flesh more sometimes, and that's when, like, especially in like Second Esdras and things like that, you see like Ezra wanting to hear from Yah. He fasts 7 days each time, which is incredible. I've only fasted 1 day, I think, total.
In a given year.
Yeah.
On Day of Atonement.
Fasting is a hard one for me, but I should do it more. So what I'm saying is, like, we will not be posting videos every week, but maybe we will. I don't
Apologize
know.
for our children right there.
Is that them?
Yes, one
Oh,
of them
okay.
is on the table.
Oh, okay, yeah. So how have you been?
Good. I feel like life has been super. I hate the word busy, but productive. It's since Sukkot, since the feast days. We jumped
Yeah.
right back into work with the tannery, and for anybody that doesn't know and hasn't watched our last Leaving Babylon video, Jim quit his job back in April as a firefighter, and we started a small business. We started a tannery, like tanning hides. If anybody doesn't know what
Yeah.
kind of tannery that is,
Not tanning beds.
not tanning beds.
Yeah.
And we have really been learning to trust. And we have seen, we've seen answered prayers over the last, how many months has it been? Is it 8
My
months?
goodness. I mean, it's
Almost
just
8
been
months.
miracle after miracle. It's crazy.
There have been miraculous moments, I think, in the last 8 months where we have been like, yeah, what are we doing? Why did we decide to quit completely? Like, we just completely were like, we're done. Like, no more secure paycheck, no more health insurance. I don't know if I should say that out loud.
Lots of things. I mean, no more insurance on a lot of things.
But really, we walked away from a lot of the perceived securities of the world. And
we were
it's
just
been
talking about
challenging.
that this morning. The securities of the world are based off of fear. I
Yeah.
mean, the world enslaves you because of fear. This is actually the teachings of Nimrod. Same thing Nimrod did. You find that in the writings of Abraham. Nimrod basically ruled the world out of tyranny, of a fear that he created. He created
Fear-mongering.
Yeah, he basically got everyone afraid, and it's not like scary stuff. It's just like, well, what happens if your house burns down, or stuff
Right,
like
what
that.
happens if you break an arm or you get
Yeah,
sick?
yeah, it's out of
and-
fear, and so we end up being enslaved to our own fear. It's kind of sad.
And we still live in fear. It's just a different kind,
Yeah.
I mean, I think we just don't have the security. So our fear is turned into immediate faith and trust, because our only security blanket on so many of these things is Yah. I mean, it truly is.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that we have mastered the art of trust, because we haven't. I fail every single day, weekly, daily, sometimes, wondering, I mean, we're working for, 6 days a week. I mean, you were working before, but it's been such a blessing, because we know that we've been able to honor the feast days. I know some people it's hard. I mean, you've spent the better part of this walk not being able to keep the feast days,
Fully, having to
fully
work on Shabbats,
having to work on
things like
Shabbats,
that. Yeah.
things like that. And so, but it's been one of the most exciting seasons too. Just not having security.
Yeah, well, something
You
for
know?
what we do now is like kind of our verse is Jeremiah 6:16. It's ask for the old ways, seek the ancient paths, and you will find rest for your souls.
Yeah.
I'm paraphrasing there. I'll post the actual verse
Yeah.
on there, but you're finding rest for yourself.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'll just be honest. The ancient paths are way harder. If you're seeking an ancient path for your life, if you desire that, and I think a lot of us do. I think if you've come to Torah, you've come to the knowledge that you should be keeping the commandments of Elohim. They're not done away with. The commandments are amazing. They're not a burden. They're amazing. If you're a Christian, you're just now hearing that, just study it out. It's incredible. The Sabbath, it's a blessing. And you got so many feast days, amazing things.
And it's not a curse. We're not putting ourselves back under
Sure.
the law.
There's incredible things and a lot of misunderstanding doctrines that have created all the church denominations, Christianity in itself. Okay. But if you come into the understanding that you should be keeping the Torah, I think it's just, it's a matter of time before you're seeking the ancient past, because you already are. And the Torah itself is like a homestead manual. I mean, the whole thing is about homesteading and sowing seed and what to do with your crops, what to do with your husbandry, what to do with your animals, wifery.
I was about to say.
There's all kinds of things that it's telling you how to do them. And I don't know if half, but a good portion of the laws are for husbandry. They are for the things that you should be doing on your land. And I think these people that are waking up, you might be one of them. We were one of them in 2017. As we've been waking up, it's just becomes the desire of our heart. I don't know where it came from. I'm not a farmer. I grew up near like a city, you know. I grew up, city boy, and all of a sudden I desire to be milking a cow. I desire to have a horse. I want to get rid of my cars, and have just
raising our own meat.
She's not ready for that, but yeah.
You're sowing. You're learning to sow.
Yes, I am sowing now. So
you have a cow and you're learning to sow.
Yeah. So there's a lot of just ways in which we can learn these ancient paths. And when you seek that, it's way harder. So hard. It's hard on my body. I'm working harder.
You're more tired now.
Yeah, more tired now than I've ever been. But it says you'll find rest for your souls. There's something so much deeper that I have found, almost like a sleep sound. It's I don't know it. You know when you work a really hard day, when you do something, you're working with your hands and you're working really hard. Whether you're ancient path, Torah, whatever you're doing, you sleep good that night and you sleep well rested, and fleeing from kind of the anxiety that the world causes by fear and by a lot of things around you. It's just so good. And ultimately the rest for your soul is finding eternity, finding the path to paradise. Thankfully we have the Son of the Most High, the only begotten Messiah, who's the door to paradise. He is our pathway, our highway back to Zion. It's incredible. We get to go to New Jerusalem one day. I can't wait. So maybe that is the true rest for the soul. But anyways, so I think we just want to, we were just kind of talking about
I was just giving an update as to sort of our last 8 months and the last couple months while we've been sort of, I wouldn't say absent, but we've been, living our lives. Our lives have, they've been busy. I mean, they really have. The farm's been busy and the tannery's been busy, and it's been good. And praise Yah for just continually showing his faithfulness and providing for our family. But so
I know a lot of people in Torah are seeking kind of this, and I'm not. I know it's easy. You look at people that might have done something that you might want to do, because I looked at people when I built this house. I was just looking at tons of people building their homestead and all these things, building these homes, and I never knew how to do it. I'm still building it. 7 years later, we're still building and adding on, doing things. So what I'm saying is, when you look at maybe a goal that you want, ancient paths, seeking something ancient.
Yeah, the old ways.
The old ways, seeking something Yah established for you, not this world. The world established all these ways to make money and to live your life and to make a living, but a living should have been on your farm. It should have been on your little plot of land that you have been given, your inheritance, or your little portion. That is enough. Yah can give you enough right there to supply for your livelihood. And I think when we're seeking these things, it's possible. It's possible. It took me, really heavily praying for 4 years, the last 4 years, to get here. I've been desiring it for a long time, but I think the last 4 years, wouldn't you say, has been just insane.
Well, in our our testimony in Leaving Babylon Part 3, like we talk about sort of the sign. you asked
Yeah,
for a
go
very
watch.
specific sign.
Yeah.
Yeah, so all of that
Go
is
watch
there.
that video. That's Leaving Babylon Part 3. And that's just our testimony. That's all it is. We have 1, 2, and 3. It's just testimony
Yeah.
if you don't know who we are.
And we haven't arrived. Like, we're still enslaved. Like, we still pay
Sure,
for an
yeah.
electric bill and things like
Yeah.
that. Like, you know, we'd love to be off grid completely with our farm and our home, but we're not. So, I mean, there's things that we, you know, still go to the grocery store. I mean, there are things that we still do, you
Yeah.
know. So it's a gradual process.
And honestly,
to-
I mean, that's another thing you said, electricity. Like solar panels is not the ancient path.
Yeah, no electricity.
Yeah, I mean, I think the world is like the world kind of gives its alternative, right? It gives you
Sure, a
the
better
way.
alternative.
Yeah, it gives you the way that most people live
Yeah.
on the grid and surviving on what the world
True,
can supply you. But then the world gave you an alternate path, which is off-grid homesteading. You know, all the YouTube, you know, sensation. You can be just like a YouTube star and homestead. You know, they kind of give you this.
We tried to do that.
We did. I'll be honest.
Let's
That's what
be real. That's
what
the
I.
first part of like these videos.
Yeah, if you want to go back and look at
See
our
who we were.
beginning videos, they're extremely embarrassing. I can't even stand to watch them. But I've left them up there because
That's who you were.
that's who I was. I
Yeah.
want people to see that, see a change in me, because there was a time when I was like, man, I want that off-grid homestead, you know, just like you see people on YouTube doing. And but now I'm like, you know, the world has provided a way to get there, and it's money. It's solar
Debt.
panels, debt. You got to go into debt to even get off grid, and you've got to do all these things
Have a farm.
to have a farm. That's not the way it was even designed. It was designed to be hard. You're supposed to have a rough life. It's just designed that way. And guess what? The human spirit, the human body is resilient.
I mean, that started with Adam. Sorry, keep going.
No, I mean, it's resilient. I mean, you know, you live without electricity. We have some friends that live without electricity. It amazes me that they can survive like in winter, you know, but they do, and they do just fine.
Yeah, they've
you know?
they've adapted.
Yeah, they've adapted. Yeah.
But that tilling the soil and it being hard labor, I mean, that started with Adam, you know? And it's like
Yeah, it's supposed to be hard.
He didn't go out and buy a tractor. We have a tractor, okay? We have the things. But we didn't, I mean, it was a gift.
was
I mean, it was
given
an
to
old
us,
Massey. It wasn't like a brand new Massey. But my point is like, you know, I don't even know where we're going with all this. But you know, work is supposed to be hard, you know, and we're not supposed to be able to have everything at our fingertips. Like the world says, have everything at your fingertips right now.
Yeah.
You can get whatever you want with a credit card, with a loan, and that is not the way it's supposed to be. And we've learned that. We learned that lesson. We learned that lesson before we moved up here, and we weren't given the desire to have a farm and animals right away. We were building a home. So, you know, and those things came later. Those things came in Yah's timing, and we were able to do it without having to go into debt. And that has been our goal and our heart's desire, and Yah knows that, is, you know, these things that have become, that are our desires were his desires first for us. I truly believe that, because I never wanted sheep. I didn't want sheep until we actually started keeping Passover.
Yeah, we were.
You know?
It was just his desires became our desires.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll, just real quick, like this is gonna be a short video, but I want to make sure everyone, because I know there's gonna be people listening and say, oh yeah, you can't, you know, you have to go into debt for this, and this, and y'all think you're so cool or whatever. I don't know. You know, there's always somebody that's gonna get upset with what we're saying. Okay. But we haven't arrived, okay? But we are seeking the ancient paths. I truly desire them.
Yeah.
Okay? And I'm learning how to get rid of the modernization of
Modern conveniences.
all these things that I've been taught. You know,
We're figuring it out.
we're figuring it out.
So
So
we're 2 generations removed. Like we're so far, at least 2 generations removed from the ancient paths. You know, from like your grandmother.
yeah, more than that, but yeah.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying, like your grandmother, who's 90 years old, who's still alive, was probably the only one that I even know. I mean, my grandparents weren't even, you know, didn't have gardens or raising their own food or anything like that.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just, anyways. You were
So I mean, we're just trying to encourage y'all. I mean, I think this is it's something that we're encouraged about, to seek these things out and to desire them. And it doesn't start with you know, getting online and finding out, you know, what's an ancient path? What's a skill I can do? It starts with getting in the Word. It starts with understanding when Yah came down to speak to his people. There's very few times Yah is talking to his people. And when he does, we should be hearing it. And man, what better time to listen to than when he came down on a mountain, burning the mountain full of fire. In the Targum, it says the mountain lifted off the ground. The people are actually screaming to Moses to tell him to stop because they're going to die. They were afraid they were going to die hearing the voice of Yah. So, I mean, if that happened, and I believe it happened, we should give ear to that. And so listening to the Torah is honestly truly the ancient path. We need to get back to listening to the commandments and the instructions of our Father. And when we do that, when we make his will our will, he'll lead us. He will lead us to different ways and how our life kind of, becomes that of the Father and what he desires for us.
That's what Proverbs says: commit your ways into Yahuwah and your plans will be established.
Yeah.
And commit your ways into Yahuwah. Like your ways become his ways.
Yeah,
be
that's
obedient
awesome.
to his ways, and guess what? Your plans, he will establish your plans. And then Proverbs 16:9 says, he will establish your steps. Like as a man devises in his heart or makes a plan, like Yahuwah directs his steps, and that only comes by committing your ways to him first.
Yeah, we all got plans, but then it's not going to happen unless we change our ways to Yah.
Yeah.
He will make those plans succeed, and we've honestly seen that. All glory be to him. So hopefully this comes across as encouraging, because that's what we're doing. We're not trying to boast or anything like that. We're trying to encourage others who are desiring to seek the ancient path.
Yes.
So.
Well, and there's a lot of trust, I think, maybe being redirected back into the government now that certain things have happened or shifted,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And so, it's like being cautious and aware of those things, but not letting ourselves lose focus of where our trust should be, and placing that, directing that trust to the right person.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
y'all have a good Sabbath. Have a good week. Good work week. It's going to be a hard work week, right?
yeah, and it's cold here.
It is
It's
cold,
cold.
yeah.
It's colder if you're north of us. So
Yeah. So thanks for watching.
shalom.